Throw me in the ring.
We are at the movies with Matt and Ryan. It's been a few days. We are back with a big review. A summer blockbuster, War for the Planet of the Apes, closes out the trilogy that has been going on for 6 years now. And Matt's here.
Well, they're gonna make. Apparently, they're probably still gonna make more Apes movies, but
Yeah, they probably
this
will.
is a this narrative at least. But yeah, War for the Planet of the Apes. We have director Matt Reeves with his second Apes film, and it picks up where Don left off. We kind of have the apes, Koba and all his shit. But the soldiers were called in, so the apes are kind of on the run. And after some shit happens to Caesar, he's kind of faced with a moral quandary, and he has to not only kind of redeem himself, but also, rescue his tribe and all that stuff. So,
All right. Well, Matt, I'm going to say this. You're going to get pissed at this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I think this is one of the most emotionally impactful blockbusters in quite a while.
Emotionally
I think it was. I think it was.
Wasn't even the most of this summer.
I disagree.
I don't care. Wonder Woman was more emotionally potent.
It was emotionally potent, but I think this one had a little bit of a step above it.
See, we're gonna get into that, but I'm gonna start with the positives because I did like the movie. My review is definitely gonna sound a little negative because I'm playing devil's advocate, because I do think this movie has been overhyped by pre-release expectations. A lot of this is the greatest trilogy since Lord of the Rings. A lot of that shit. I mean, how many trilogies has there been since Lord of the Rings? Dark Knight, Spider-Man, that's it. So
those are good trilogies. Really a big statement. Good trilogies.
What?
Good trilogies, though. Dark Knight is a very good trilogy. If you're looking in the scope of the mainstream crowd, yeah, Dark Knight was pretty.
Okay, but what I'm saying is that statement doesn't mean shit. It's it's better than two other trilogies. It's not like there's been 9 trilogies where it's oh wow, that's different than saying something's the best sequel. It's there's a lot of sequels.
Still the best though.
It's not. Well, that's someone's opinion. I still think, even though Dark Knight Rises dropped the ball, I still think the Batman movies are better than these movies.
Yeah. It's hard to compare.
So you literally just contradicted yourself, but we'll keep moving.
About what? What did I
you just said Apes was the best trilogy, and I'm just yeah, I think Batman is, and you're yeah.
I didn't say yeah, I said eh. I love the Dark Knight. Wrong. Matt, Batman Begins is good. The Dark
Batman
Knight
Begins is great. Batman Begins is fucking great.
The Dark Knight is phenomenal, and The Dark Knight Rises sucked. So
is there a single Apes movie that's even close to being as good as Dark Knight?
But that doesn't. It's consistently good, Matt. It's a great trilogy. How is it not a great trilogy?
It has, because there's one great movie and two good movies that have severe flaws. But I'm gonna start with my positives. I think the motion capture performances for these movies are all very good. Andy Serkis, I mean, this guy, he should have got nominated supporting actor for Rise. I don't think he'll ever get nominated as a lead actor for his motion capture work, but the work he does is phenomenal, and it should get major credit. I mean, he was Gollum and all that. So major props to Serkis. Steve Zahn as a new motion capture does very good. You have Karen Carnival as Maurice, does a great job. I mean, and I think the animation has also improved a lot.
Yeah.
Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, even when it came out, it looked a little the details were good, but when there was a lot of apes on screen, it looked a little so-so. But this movie, I think, does it a lot better. Matt Reeves, I have issues with him as a writer, but as a director, I appreciate what he does. I mean, he's had a very good resume so far between Cloverfield and Let Me In, and the first, or Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. He really meshes genre well. The first third is like a western, then it becomes a prison break movie. I really like how he kind of played with genre, but still made it a cohesive experience. And I like that he prioritizes, character and story over just simple action and
Yeah.
thrills. I mean, there's really only one big action scene in the movie.
Yeah, I think this movie was phenomenally directed, and there's a lot of like iconic scenes. I think like there's a lot of great, camera shots. A lot of scenes that are memorable for me. I think, and I think he does a great job of making those scenes memorable. And I think that's where the emotion also hits too. But obviously we disagree on some things. But
I'm not done with my positives either. But
good.
I appreciate the movie for its PG-13 rating. Goes to some dark places, and I like how they try to incorporate more worldly concepts like mercy, or how you deal with loss, revenge. The Caesar character is always pretty well fleshed out in these movies, and his arc is always interesting to follow. And I like how they reincorporated Don into this and Don, I think, flow very nicely together.
Yeah.
I think they could have reincorporated some of Rise a little bit, but I mean, it's whatever.
But that's tough to do because, like, the worldly difference between Rise and now, it's.
Come on, give me a little James Franco reference. Just give me something. Give me give me a little taste.
I just don't know where you'd put that in the film. Like, that would be forced. I think.
I fucking know where you put it. I know where you put it.
Oh no.
Put it right in the end, baby.
No. Just a picture of him?
This is my issues with the movie. First off, this is the first Apes movie that was not written by the original two scribes. Let me get their names. But, oh shit, what am I doing? Matt Reeves co-wrote it with Mark Bombach, who is most known for writing The Hurt Locker, but then not being able to go to the Oscars for being a douchebag. But no, Rick Jaffa and Amanda Silver, they wrote the first two Apes movies, and I think I don't know why, but I just the script was nowhere near as good as the first two. I think, especially the first one. The storytelling here, there are some strong beats. But I think it is clumsy in a lot of aspects, especially the biblical I feel embarrassed to say undertones because it's so overt and obvious. It's like it's just silly. Like it cheapens the storytelling. It's like, oh my god, like
how?
What would Caesar do? Like, are you fucking kidding?
I don't understand how that's a Matt. How is that a bad, like, how is, I don't know, how is that an issue with the film? I don't get that.
Because it cheapens the storytelling when it's being so overt with its intentions. Like, if it's incorporated subtly and with, like, a deft touch, then it's like, okay, like, I understand this. But when it's, like, fucking spelling it out with the imagery and the dialogue, it makes it just seem a little silly. Like, it just, I don't know.
Here's my thing.
It's like, let's spell everything out.
Here's my thing.
In big letters, like,
Here's my thing. I think most of the mainstream crowd is gonna recognize the other themes of the movie, Matt, a lot more than the biblical themes of the movie.
I think you're pretty stupid if you don't see it. I mean, it's pretty out there.
I think there's other things that are overtly more obvious, Matt, than that. Like there's race, there's the other worldly themes that you talked about. There's I
don't know about race. It's more of a species.
I think there's definitely some race, Matt.
I don't know. I people are also saying that
they're working as slaves, Matt.
It's a relevant movie about the destruction of current America. Yeah, I'm not buying that. Sorry.
Come on, Matt. How is race not part of this film?
Buy it. I don't think it works as that. I just didn't.
Maybe not obviously it's going to be more like, I don't know, like it's not going to, it's going to be more exaggerated obviously, but like I could definitely see some racial, It
didn't have any poignancy though in that sense for me. It didn't work. Like it just didn't work for me that way. But like whatever, I don't care. That's an issue I have, but the main issue I have is I think a lot of the emotional beats of this movie felt very underdeveloped or
No.
just felt rushed. I mean, there's a certain event that happens like 20 minutes in the movie that's it's like okay, like it ended up making a major event feel more like a plot point because it didn't really have time to develop. It just kind of happened, and even the big ending of the movie, it just kind of happened. It didn't like I will compare it to Logan, which Logan, not to spoil the ending for those who haven't seen it, but the climax of that movie, it builds up to it, and it feels the moment itself feels very earned, and it takes its time. It's like, okay, this is the time to have a big moment, have a moment where it really owns the screen. I think a lot of the more dramatic moments in this movie, it's like, it just felt kind of rushed, and it lessened the impact.
I disagree.
Well, have a thesis then, and don't just say I disagree.
No, let me talk, all right? I don't understand why you think it's rushed. I think they developed it greatly, and I think that there is this one big action scene at the end.
It's stupid. Oh my god! Don't fucking get me. That fucking snowstorm is the dumbest shit. That annoyed me.
Matt, is the movie? Okay. Why would you have this over I don't know, bombastic end climactic scene when the whole movie has been kind of I would even say grounded. Most of the movie was pretty grounded.
That scene was so stupid. That was so dumb. The movie for the most part like in a regular summer movie, fine, but when the movie is taking itself and its world and the impact of it so seriously, for that stupid shit to just happen, it's like, what the fuck's going on? It felt like straight out of a Triple X movie. I expected Caesar to be on a snowboard or something, whoosh, that was dumb. But I was talking more about the final scene. I wasn't talking about that. I don't care.
Oh yeah, no, the final. What else do you want from that? It's hard to.
I don't want to spoil, but it just it didn't have the impact. They didn't nail that moment.
I think it does, Matt.
And it was okay. I'm not saying it was a bad scene, but it was just it wasn't the home run it wasn't the home run emotion, and that's where you should have the home run.
Here's why I think it was. I think it was because I think watching this trilogy, you've watched. Actually, I'm gonna spoil it by saying this. I'm not gonna say it.
No, don't spoil.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I know I'm not gonna spoil it. I caught myself there, but I will say this, Matt. When you watch a trilogy and you watch the all three movies were at least good movies, you really get invested in these characters, and when there's something big that does happen, Matt, it is emotional. I think that helps.
Ryan, I agree with that, but the scene itself could have nailed that home. I think even more. It's like with Wolverine, that fucking scene, or the Logan, that scene was a fucking home run. The dialogue was perfect. The pacing of it was perfect. Everything was just perfect, and it made the emotion work so well. But in this movie, it was a little off. And I think Reeves, I give him credit as a director. As a writer, there's just some things that felt off to me. I think throughout.
You have to also understand. Keep going.
What?
Keep going.
And I do think it's a very good movie, and I appreciate it, and I really hope it does well, because I appreciate that they took the Planet of the Apes, the universe, the mythos, and kind of did something new with it. And even though I think the last two entries have been flawed compared to the first one, I think they're all three good movies, and I think they're all movies people have enjoyed. And as someone who's seen the first two in the theaters, it was cool experiencing this one. And I give them credit, and I give Fox credit for letting Reeves make the movie he intended on making. I give, between this, Alien, Covenant, and Logan, I think Fox has shown an ability to kind of step back and let their directors and writers really make the movie they envision. And that, I think, in a world where Disney's fucking firing directors left and right, that's very admirable. So I'd like to say that.
I think the script, I know you're giving heat to the script, Matt, but I mean, there wasn't much dialogue anyway in the first place. I
didn't complain about the dialogue. I complained about the storytelling, and I complained about those emotional beats not quite hitting. And I guess that could also be a problem with the direction.
Okay, I don't want to spoil it, Matt, but I think the storytelling, I think, really represented Caesar's character well. That's why I liked it. I think it showed how he was as this, I mean, like how he was as an ape, and what he believed in, and I think that's where the storytelling I think was effective.
I I think the character is effective, but I think at times the story around him can feel a little heavy-handed.
I
Like
think
that's
that
just the,
yeah. Well, I think that's what they were trying to do. They were trying to like represent, like they're trying to use the storytelling as like a representation of like I don't know what Caesar would do, as you would say. I don't know.
no, that's fucking stupid. That I'm throwing that way
Well,
out
Matt,
the window.
Caesar's
That
been
was
an integral part of this trilogy. Like he's in every movie. Like,
yeah, but that's stupid. It's just It made it cheesy. Like it made it dumb. Like
ow, that's.
Caesar on the cross. Like I get like some subtlety is nice. Like just a pinch.
I was
a
thinking
little-
more of slavery during those scenes. Like I wasn't even thinking like Jesus Christ. Like I wasn't even thinking that. Like
I was. It was so obvious. And then, not to spoil the end, but they reach the whole. It's kind of a spoiler, but
it's great.
It's very. The connections are very biblical,
It's
and
great.
even I looked it up post movie. Matt Reeves was inspired by biblical storytelling, so that kind of works.
I still don't think that was enough.
I thought more about the Holocaust than I did
Yeah,
slavery.
no, I said Holocaust too. I actually said in the theater, I'm like, wow, this is like the Holocaust. But yeah, slavery. I think both. Like, but yeah,
Whatever. I think the movie it's good. It's just not as smart or as intelligent or as impactful as I think it wants to be. But
yeah.
if people are like, I already did.
This was the Caesar
did.
show.
What's up?
This was the Caesar show. That's what this movie was, and
well,
I loved
all
it.
three of them are. But yeah,
I think this
it's
one
a
more
fun
especially
movie.
though.
What's up?
I think this one most especially though. Like Woody Harrelson's in it, and he's like, he's good. Like he's a great actor, obviously, but his character wasn't as developed as I don't know.
I liked Woody Harrelson's character. That's one of the things people have been complaining about the movie. I liked him, and I think his character didn't have a lot of screen time, but it didn't need a lot of screen time. You kind of understood who he was, and they made his screen time effective. Like,
Yeah.
I thought he was good. I liked Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, he's a great actor. I think that helps.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I want to get into ratings.
I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10.
All right. I think I'm all the way down to a 7. I think
Jesus.
7 sounds fair to me. I after sleeping on it
Disappointing,
and thinking about it, I think
I teared up.
I put it right there with Alien Covenant as a movie that has a lot. There's a lot I admire, but sometimes its intention it doesn't quite match that with intentions. But yeah, there's a lot of good stuff here. So
Yeah.
7 out of 10.
Well, agree to disagree.
No, I don't agree, but okay.
Wow.
I think this is I think this is the problem. I think this movie is gonna get a lot of raves, but then at the end of the year, no one's gonna talk about it. No one's gonna be like, "Well, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes was." This happens every summer with movies. It's just like, everyone loves. It's so fucking good. Blah, blah, blah. And then it's never on like best of lists or never talked about at the Oscars seriously or like anything like that. Like, so I'm done with this. I've lived this process too much.
Matt was too smart for this movie.
It's not like a dumb movie. It's just I don't know. There's some issues with it, but yeah, it's a good movie.
It was dark. One thing I will say, I wish there was some more comedy because of how dark it was. Like it was serious.
I like the comedy. Steve Zahn was fucking great as the
Oh,
bad
yeah.
ape or whatever.
Yeah.
That was great, and it was like at the smallest touches. What?
Well.
Okay, that's the review.
Yeah.
So.
All right, well, check it out, and we'll have more reviews coming out. But for now, we'll see you guys. Like, share, subscribe our channel at the Movies with Matt and Ryan. Have a good one.